Welcome to Caldwell County Today. I'm Paige Counts, Public Information Officer for Caldwell County. Joining me today is Richard Gilliland with the Animal Care Enforcement Division. Welcome, Richard.
Welcome, Paige. Thank you.
Richard, you have an event coming up, a rabies clinic, which you do these a couple of times a year usually. Tell us about this one.
This one's a little different than the previous ones that we've done in the past. This one's going to be a free drive-through rabies vaccine clinic.
Okay. A free clinic, is it free to everyone or just to certain individuals?
This rabies vaccine clinic is free to all Caldwell County residents with proof of a governmental ID showing residency here in Caldwell County. If you are not a Caldwell County resident, it's a $10 fee for the rabies vaccine. It's a 1-year vaccine.
And why are you doing a free clinic?
In my first couple months of here, observing the intake of animals and the animals that we're holding for quarantine procedures, I realized that in bite cases, if your dog or cat bites somebody and it has its rabies vaccines are current, the animal can be quarantined at its residence. If the animal does not have a up-to-date rabies vaccine, it has to be quarantined within our shelter or a other authorized boarding facility. So what I started seeing was we were having animals come in that were quarantined for 10 days. At the end of that 10-day period, there's obviously a daily fee involved for a bite dog, which is $15 a day. So at the end of that 15-day period was a $150 fee to retrieve your animal from the shelter. Not only the $150 fee, but before the animal could leave the shelter, we'd have to give the rabies vaccine, which is a $10 fee. So $160 was the fee to pick up your cat or dog from our shelter. And I realized that a lot of people could not afford that fee. So therefore they were surrendering their dog or their cat to us because they couldn't afford that fee of getting their cat or dog back. And to me, I just thought, I kind of put myself in some of their shoes and thought, hey, this would be detrimental if it happened to me and I couldn't get my cat or dog back. Cats and dogs are our best friends. We love them. So being able to provide this service, I think it can cut down on the amount of surrenders whenever it comes to bite cases and things of that, and the amount of animals that we are housing inside of our shelter. For animals, how often do they have to get rabies vaccine? It depends on the rabies vaccine that is issued. Our facility issues the 1-year rabies vaccine. A lot of veterinarians' offices will issue the 1-year vaccine or the 3-year vaccine, but our organization does the 1-year vaccine.
So at the clinic, it will be the 1-year vaccine that you're giving out?
Yes, ma'am.
About how many rabies cases do we see in Caldwell County a year?
So last year for 2021, there was 4 cases. 2020, there was 4 cases. And in 2019, there was 2 cases. So to break that down, in 2021, there was 29 animals tested for rabies. And just 11.6% of those were positive. And it was 1 raccoon and 3 skunks. 2020, we had four positive cases, 1 fox, 1 raccoon, and 2 skunks. And in 2019, there was 1 bat and 1 fox that was positive.
How does that compare statewide?
So statewide, the year 2020 statewide statistics, there was 289 positive cases. Now that ranges from raccoons all the way down to sheep, but there was 289 positive cases. So in 2020, 4 of those 289 cases were Caldwell County cases.
So really the numbers vary from year to year on rabies cases. But why is it important for me to get my animal vaccinated, especially if I have an indoor cat or an indoor dog?
An indoor cat, indoor dog, they sometimes get out. My dogs have got out, got lost, and while they're out, they're exposed to wildlife animals. And from our last 3 years, all the rabies cases we've had are wildlife animals, and majority of the cases in North Carolina from the 2020 statistics are wildlife animals. So naturally, I know, for instance, my dog, if it sees a skunk or a raccoon or something, it's going to chase it. Skunks and raccoons are very prone to having rabies. So if your dog or cat is protected from the rabies vaccine and is exposed to one of those wildlife animals, you're more protected for your animal, but not only for your animal, but to yourself as well. The rabies vaccine is almost, the rabies disease is almost 100% fatal in humans and animals.
And I would say all the time, our pets get rabies from a wild animal, correct?
Yes.
So if I see a wild animal in my yard, how would I know if it's rabid?
A lot of times,
suspect that it's rabid?
there's two different forms of rabies. There's dumb rabies and furious rabies. Dumb rabies is where the animal is shy and hide and is usually approachable. They act slow, depressed, or confused. Furious rabies is the more erratic behavior that people think of. The aggression towards other people or other animals or other things. They may be suddenly attacked whenever you approach them, but may remain calm as well from a distance. So those are the things to look for. I would never approach a wildlife animal that's in your yard, or if you was to discover an animal showing these signs and symptoms, I would definitely call our facility, the Caldwell County Animal Care Enforcement.
Okay. So these are the reasons why it's important. Tell us again when the rabies clinic is, and you're giving out free rabies vaccines. How many do you have?
So the rabies vaccine clinic is going to be the second Saturday of April, which is April the 9th, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It's going to be held at the health department facility. We normally are open the second Saturday of every month for rabies and adoptions. This particular event, we're not going to be open at our facility, but we're going to be open for the rabies vaccine only at this time.
So it's from 10 to 2, and I'm guessing that is dependent on the supply.
Yes.
So when supplies run out, then...
If we run out of vaccines, we're obviously going to have to stop the event.
But that's a good problem to have.
Yes, it's a great problem to have.
Also, my other question is, if I have 2 or 3 animals, can I bring all of them?
Put them in your car and bring them.
Okay. And this is a drive-through, so...
You don't have to exit your vehicle. We'll have somebody there that's filling out some paperwork, some basic information from the owner of the pet, the name and information of the dog as well. And then we'll have one of our certified rabies vaccinators actually giving the rabies vaccine while the others are filling out the paperwork.
So it should be a fairly quick process.
It should be.
I mean, and you've done rabies vaccine drive-through clinics before, so you have some experience with this.
Yes.
Also, I don't think we've told people where it's going to be.
It's going to be at the Caldwell County Health and Human Services parking lot. The address is actually 2345 Morganton Boulevard here in Lenoir, just in front of the sheriff's office.
So easy to find. What's your message to people about keeping their animals safe?
Keeping your animals safe is important from rabies in general. But ultimately, whenever you look at it, you're not only keeping your animals safe, you're keeping yourself safe as well, your kids safe, your other family members safe. So if you can vaccinate your animal, you automatically are releasing or reducing that exposure rate to yourself or your friends or your family, ultimately saving yourself and your pets.
And Richard, I realize we probably should have started with this, but you're fairly new to your position.
Yes, ma'am.
In the last few months, tell us about what has drawn you to the position and how you see your department growing in the future.
So, what drew me to the position? To be honest with you, I never had a thought about being a director for the Caldwell County Animal Shelter. However, I take it back to servant, being a public servant, and whether that's in law enforcement, which is my background, or if I'm working for the water department, or for instance now I'm working with the animal shelter. Being a servant is being a servant, no matter what position you're in. So being able to serve others, help those who cannot help themselves, is my ultimate task. I like to help others. I see our organization growing, and I see it growing not just because myself or our staff is spectacular, but the partnership that we are creating with other organizations. I've said it time and time again, I know things, I can do things, but obviously don't know everything, and I cannot do everything. However, a different organization can do things that I cannot do. I can do things that they cannot do, but our teamwork together, we can get great things done. Partnership. We've been able to form some partnerships in the past couple of months, and I hope to just increase that with different organizations and continue the work with everybody.
Well, Richard, I'm excited to see what's going to happen, and you do have under construction right now the new animal shelter. Do you want to say anything about that?
Hopefully. I'm excited about the new animal shelter. It's definitely a huge improvement for our citizens and our animals. We'll be able to house a lot more animals than what we house now. And I'm hoping by this summer. By this summer, we should be open and start being able to operate out of there.
Okay, exciting stuff. Is there anything else we need to talk about? I realize we've jumped around all over the place.
Not off the top of my head.
All right, tell us again when the rabies clinic is, where it is, and what time it is.
The rabies vaccine clinic is going to be April the 9th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Health and Human Services building at 2345 Morganton Boulevard, while supplies last. So the sooner you get there, the better your chances are on getting a free vaccine.
Okay. Richard, thank you for joining us, and we're looking forward to the rabies vaccination clinic.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Caldwell County Today.